Long distance relationships aren't for the faint of heart. From communication struggles to time zone differences, today we'll dive into real challenges couples face when love spans continents. You're welcome to this very exciting and insightful episode of Finding Love. I am Grace Renner. Finding Love is a relationship and marriage show that instills the foundation for marriage with the understanding that marriage is God's idea. It is a show for anyone who is ready for marriage or already married and desires to do marriage the way God has designed it, because marriage is God's idea. You're welcome once again. Thanks to all my returning subscribers. I really appreciate you. Now, if you're new to this channel, please do well to subscribe to this channel. Also, if you're watching this, please share it to your friends and loved ones, as it will be really helpful. The goal behind Finding Love is to save marriages, to preserve relationships, and to save individuals generally as regards relationship matters. So please, your sharing it helps to propagate the agenda. Okay, also like this video so that more people can see it. If you like it, YouTube algorithm will show it to more people. Okay, and also leave me a comment. I'd like to know how this video has impacted you. If you have any personal experiences to share in the comment section, I'll be right there in my comment section. So please share it. Now, today's shout out is to Zelina_Bastina. Thank you so much for always watching, for always supporting, for always leaving me a comment and sharing my videos. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And if you want me to leave you a shout out, do let me know in my comment section and I'll be glad to do so. Yesterday, we started a new series called Long Distance Relationships, and we were able to cover what it means to be in a long distance relationship, the categories of long distance relationships, and why people engage in long distance relationships. Now, today, we'll be talking about the challenges that long distance relationship partners face and who shouldn't engage in long distance relationship. Like I said in my introduction, long distance relationship isn't for the faint of heart. Okay, now it doesn't mean that it is not doable. It is very doable, but there are certain categories of people that long distance relationship might not work for. So over the course of this video, during the course of this video, we will talk about these things. Okay, now do not go anywhere. I'll be right back. You're welcome back. Now let's get right into talking about the challenges that long distance relationship faces. Okay, but before then, I want us to read our anchor scripture for today. Our anchor scripture is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 4, which says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. Okay, now let's go right into talking about the challenges that long distance relationships face. Number one challenge that long distance relationships face is lack of physical presence. Now, couples involved in long distance relationship miss out on everyday moments. They miss out on physical affection and also miss out on spontaneous plans. So there are some people who enjoy spontaneity. Now, if you are that kind of person who enjoys spontaneity, a long distance relationship might be pretty difficult because you would not be able to carry out such. Maybe your spouse is abroad and you are in Nigeria or in any other country but far apart. You would need to always plan, make plans. You need to always make plans ahead of time. You might not be able to just carry out spontaneous activities. Also, you miss out on things that happen in the moment. For instance, it's not every time you're on the phone with your spouse or your partner. Okay, so there might be some things that might be happening that you would wish that your partner might be there with you, but that might be impossible. So also physical affection, being able to cuddle your partner, being able to hug your partner, to kiss your partner, those are the kind of things that you might be missing out from. So that lack of physical presence is one of the major challenges of long distance relationships. Number two challenge that long distance relationship experience is time zone differences. Okay, time zone differences makes it difficult for partners to communicate, especially if their schedules do not align. If you live in a country where your morning is your partner's evening, it might be pretty difficult for you both to always communicate. Or maybe your midnight is the morning. When you're sleeping is when will be at work. If your schedules do not align, it might be pretty difficult to stay connected, to communicate. So this is one of the challenge that long distance relationships experience. Number three challenge that long distance relationships face is miscommunication. Now, without body language, without immediate feedbacks, miscommunication sometimes tend to occur. Okay, because non-verbal communication is an intrinsic part of communication. Okay, so misconceptions, misunderstandings, miscommunication can occur when there is no immediate feedback, there's no body language to further buttress whatever point that is being said, and these things can tend to cause miscommunication. Number four challenge that long distance relationships face is emotional strain. Now, loneliness, doubt, insecurities may creep in over time. Long distance relationship do not particularly solve loneliness problem. Okay, it could even result into doubt, in the sense that some partners may tend to start to doubt the seriousness of the relationship, their partner's faithfulness, and the likes. And over time, suspicions might start to creep in. People might start to read meanings because you know doubt has started to creep in. You're no longer sure of your position in your partner's life and things like that. So emotional strain can occur as a result of long distance relationship. Number five challenge that long distance relationships face is financial pressure. Now, traveling to visit your partner can be quite expensive, and depending on the category of the long distance, it might be that your partner lives outside the country. Now, getting visas, tickets, hotel bookings, and all of those things can be pretty expensive. The truth is, some partners tend to work several jobs to be able to afford their partners to come visit them. And aside working several jobs and having some money to bring your partner over, what about visa issues? What if immigration doesn't issue visa to your partner? Things like that. Or maybe they get the visa, but you have not saved up enough money to rent a hotel or book a hotel. And maybe your partner cannot stay with you because maybe where you're working, where you're living is a workspace or a hostel situation where your school has provided you a tiny cubicle for a hostel or for a room for a residence. Or maybe it's even a roommate situation and you cannot bring your spouse or your partner to come live with you. So these are the challenges. Financial pressure comes as a result of long distance relationships, and it can occur in any form. Okay, whether it's in immigrations or even the cost of saving for your partner to come and live with you, or even to get the tickets or things like that. All of these things I've already highlighted. I do not want to reiterate, but you get what I mean. So this can be such a challenge in long distance relationship. And number six challenge that long distance relationship face is temptation or jealousy. Now, especially if one or both partners struggle with trust. Now, distance actually suggests freedom, and sometimes freedom can stir up temptation if one or both partners are not sexually disciplined. Okay, when there's freedom and there's no discipline, it can lead to all kinds of things. It can lead to you being tempted. Or in the case of jealousy, where a partner tends to get jealous, just knowing that they are not there and you're enjoying yourself so much, you're having a good time, or you might be getting attention from other people. So these types of things tend to stir up jealousy, especially where trust is already an issue. Okay, so this is one of the challenges of long distance relationship. Now, I've just highlighted some of the challenges of long distance relationships. I'm sure there are more, so feel free to let me know in the comment section. Okay, now let's go on to talking about who should not participate or engage in long distance relationship. Certain kinds of people tend to find long distance relationships particularly difficult. Now, it's not a rule that certain people shouldn't be in long distance relationships, so do not get me wrong. What I'm just trying to let you know is, if you fall into certain categories that I'll be mentioning, maintaining a long distance relationship might be difficult for you. Now, one of these people are people who require constant physical affection. Now, for people who require constant physical affection, maybe your love language is physical touch. In-person intimacy might be better for you. So you might tend to struggle with long distance relationships. Okay, people whose love languages are physical touch, and they want to feel affectionate, physically affectionate with their partners all the time, they might not really enjoy the dynamics of long distance relationships. So if you fall into this category, you might experience difficulty, maintaining a long distance relationship. Now, number two category of people that should not be in long distance relationship are people with anxious attachment style. Now, people with anxious attachment style tend to fear abandonment and rejection. They tend to need constant reassurance and reaffirmation. They tend to enjoy emotional closeness as it gives them that sense of intimacy, that sense of belonging. So if you fall into this category, it might be quite challenging for you. And it's important that you know your own attachment style so that you know if long distance relationships will work for you, or how to even manage one if you're looking to get into one or you're already in one. So it's important that you know your attachment style. Now, these are my recommendations. For someone with anxious attachment style, long distance relationship might work, but of course it will require constant reassurance, checking in, calling, emotional connections as much as you can. But in addition to that, what I would say is both partners or the partner who has that anxious attachment style should consciously work on themselves, work on their attachment style, work on, gaining more independence, gaining more trust and security on their own apart from their partner. Because anxious attachment style can really affect long distance relationship. Now, is it possible to have that attachment style and sustain a healthy long distance relationship? Yes, but of course it will require a lot of work from both partners, especially the partner who has that attachment style, if they're willing to work on themselves and if the other partner is willing to put in the work to make sure that the emotional connection, the reassurance, the affirmation, the reaffirmation is there constantly. Now, under this, aside having the anxious attachment style, if you're a partner who tends to have insecurities and jealousy issues, long distance relationship might be challenging for you because long distance relationship requires trust. Okay, it requires patience. Now, if you're the kind of person who easily, is insecure, who is jealous all the time, can easily read meanings to things, can easily be suspecting and things like that, long distance relationship might not work for you. And if you tend to overthink things, of course, long distance relationship will definitely intensify your anxiety. So people with high insecurity and jealousy might find long distance relationships challenging. And lastly, in this category, if you are an emotionally dependent individual, long distance relationship might not work for you. If you're the kind of person who tends to depend on your partner to regulate your mood, your self-esteem and things like that, long distance relationship might not work for you. You might find it pretty challenging because long distance relationship requires emotionally independent individuals. Okay, for a long distance relationship to work, you might need to learn to be emotionally independent to some extent. Okay, so if you are the kind of person who is dependent on your partner emotionally, for your self-esteem, for your mood, and things like that, it might be quite challenging to manage a long distance relationship. Another category of people that might not be suitable for long distance relationships are people who are considered poor communicators. Now, if you have problems with expressing yourself verbally, communicating your feelings, your thoughts, your likes, your dislikes, your expectations verbally, you might find long distance relationship isolating, because sometimes miscommunications can occur. Sometimes even your tone can be misunderstood, your intentions can be misunderstood just from the wrong tone, So if you're not good with expressing your feelings, with communicating, long distance relationship might not be suitable for you. Number four category of people that might not engage in long distance relationship are impulsive or spontaneous daters. Now, if you're the kind of person who thrives on, impulsive dating, impulsive meetups, spontaneous activities, you do not particularly like to plan things, you like to surprise your partner, you like to do things, or you like to engage in spontaneous intimacy. Now, long distance relationships might feel suffocating, so it might not be suitable for you. It's good to know the kind of person that you are. If you're the kind of person that who just likes to prank your partner, you're just a spontaneous person, you want to surprise your partner, you like things to be done on your feet, it might be difficult to sustain or maintain a long distance relationship. Now, number five set of people that may not engage in long distance relationships are people who lack long term vision. Okay, long term relationships or long distance relationships work better when there's a time frame from where the distance will be ended. Okay, so if you do not have plans for your future or know where the relationship is going, or you do not know what you might be doing next and things like that, if you do not have a vision for your life yet, it might be difficult to have or sustain a long distance relationship. Okay, because it can feel stagnant if you're dating somebody, you do not know what your plans for the future is, whether it's to come back or to bring them or to get married, or it can really, really make the relationship stagnant. So if you're the kind of person who is not sure about your plans for the future, or what you want to do with the relationship, or where the relationship will be going, or if you really, intend to marry that person in the long run, or if you want them to come join you, if you're just not sure of your future, you do not have a vision or a goal, then it can be difficult to maintain a long distance relationship. Long distance relationship definitely thrives on goals. It has to be clear. When is the distance ending? What are we doing towards this distance? Am I coming? Are you coming? Are we getting married? When are we getting married? Am I getting a job here? It can leave both partners stagnant and confused. So if you are the kind of person who doesn't know, what your plans are, or don't even have a plan at all, you're just, not sure, long distance relationship might not be for you. Now, in addition to not having a long term vision, people in the category who, do not have stable life circumstances, maybe the circumstances surrounding your life are unstable, from your finances to your work to your housing to your education. If you are in an unstable life situation, long distance relationship might not work for you, because long distance relationships require some level of stability. Already the mental stress of maybe the school, or the money or the work or whatever it is that you're chasing, it's already a lot. Now trying to figure out, okay, so I'm not stable, how do I do with my partner? Where are we going? What are they doing? What's in it in this relationship, and things like that. It's already enough burden to bear when you're unstable. Then to now add a partner to it, that can be pretty difficult to manage. Okay, so if you are in a situation where you are unstable generally, your housing, your finances, you're financially unstable, you do not have a place of your own, or you're still struggling with your education, and whatever it is that took you out of the country is not stable, maybe immigrations are chasing you around and things like that, it can be pretty difficult to sustain or maintain a healthy long distance relationship. So if you're in this category, it might not work for you. Now, let me say this, yeah. Long distance relationships aren't bad. They're just not for some people. It works for some people, but not for some people. But the key things to note is that they require emotional maturity, strong communication, and patience. So if you lack these virtues that I have listed out, you might want to consider the normal in-person relationships. But if you have these virtues that I've listed out, patience, strong communication, emotional maturity, it's not bad to explore it. Okay, you could explore it if you have someone you love and they're far away from you. I mean, it takes two working together to make it happen. So you just might want to try it. So don't say no to it. Don't close your door to it. Just know who you are. The most important thing is know who you are. Know the kind of relationship that you like. Know the kind of relationship or connections that you require for your life. So that it's clear, so that you know what you're doing. Okay. Now, with this, we've come to the end of today's episode. Next week, Thursday, we'll be talking about, keys to help you maintain your long distance relationship, if you're already in one, or just generally how to maintain a healthy long distance relationship. So, these are episodes you do not want to miss. Okay, so thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Share this video, like it so that YouTube algorithm can show it to more people, and leave me a comment. I want to see what your thoughts are on today's episodes. If you can relate or if you have personal stories to share, I'll be in my comment section. Okay. And also, I'm here every Thursdays and Fridays for Finding Love. I'm also here on Sundays for a show I call Code for Easy Living. Do not forget to show up for me on Sundays as well. Trust me, my sessions will bless you. These are not things you want to miss. They will highly benefit you. And don't hoard them. Share them to your friends and family. Let's all grow together. Okay? And then one last announcement before I go. Singles Hangout 6 is here. If you haven't registered, please go and register. This edition, we're introducing a new show called Heaven's Match, a matchmaking show. It's going to be a wonderful experience. If you want to be a part of it, please check the description corner to see how you can be a part of it. Also, Who's Outreach, the charity arm of this ministry that caters to widows, helpless, orphans, sick, and elderly, is in need of support. So if you would like to be a sponsor or to support this outreach in any way that you can, we give to them every quarter. So if you want to be a part of it, please check the description corner to see how you can support us, whether in kind or in cash. Thank you so much. I remain Grace Renner. I'll see you next week Thursday. Bye for now.